Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you to Palestine Solidarity Campaign for organising this event at very short notice, and the way in which PSC is able to mobilise a lot of people at very short notice, always to give a big shout out in support of the people of Palestine. I want to say thank you to them for that, but also thank you to all the organisations, there were a very large number of them, that lobbied MPs ahead of the bill that was forced through Parliament on Monday night. And I want to say thank you to all of those organisations, human rights organisations, Liberty, many trade unions, and I also want to say a special thank you and a big shout out to JVL, Jewish Voice for Labour, for also the support that they gave for that. Thank you JVL, and thank you Jewish Socialist Group and so many others that have often spoken out in support of the Palestinian people, because our purpose here tonight is to give support to the Palestinian people. And as one who absolutely voted against this wretched bill on Monday night, not just because of its singling out of the Palestinian people for special mention within the bill, but because of the very dangerous effects it will have on our free speech, on our public representatives at local and national level to speak out on a boycott campaign of any country or organisation anywhere around the world without the permission of the Secretary of State. If this was being introduced anywhere else in the world, we would be universally and immediately condemning it, and we do condemn that bill even though it's been introduced in this country, and I will continue to vote against it in Parliament, and I urge you to keep your eye on what's going on and make sure that you all get your own MPs, not to abstain, but to be there and vote against it. Now, as that debate was going on Monday night, what was happening was news was coming in of what was going on in Jenin. And what was going on in Jenin was what's been going on in Jenin for a very long time. Jenin is in the occupied West Bank. Jenin is a town full of people. Jenin has a refugee camp which is home to 14,000 people. Those 14,000 people are trying to exist in an area of less than half of a square kilometre, 0.4 square kilometres. And the idea that somehow or other the Israeli Defence Force can use high-caliber weapons, many of which are imported from the United States, some of which may be imported from this country, many of which are probably manufactured in Israel, and avoid any civilian casualties is complete nonsense, as the death toll that's already come from Jenin shows. This year has been a terrible year for the Palestinian people. Terrible year with so many dead as a result of the IDF activities. Terrible year because there are already 150 settlements, 150 illegal settlements all over the West Bank. I spent Saturday evening in a very long discussion with my good friend Mustafa Barghouti of the Palestine National Initiative. And I just thank you, great man. I just made some notes as he was talking. 150 settlements, 70 more settlements planned. Over 500,000 settlers already placed in Palestine, and 600 checkpoints across the West Bank, and a further 70 settlements are planned at the present time. When they say get the peace process back on track, when they say get the talks returning, what I see is more settlements, more military presence, more checkpoints, more settlements planned, and more poverty and oppression of the people of Palestine. Just imagine what it's like if your whole life as a young person, or indeed a middle-aged person, has been to get up in the morning, go outside your home, and what you see? Occupying military forces. And when you go down the road to go to school or college or anywhere else, checkpoint after checkpoint after checkpoint, which are randomly and often closed, so you can't go about whatever you're planning to do that day. Imagine what that does to the psyche. Imagine what that does to your spirit. Imagine what that does to your sense of freedom. Just imagine, I need to get home this evening to where I live in Finsbury Park, and I had to go through 6 or 8 checkpoints just to get those few kilometres to Finsbury Park. That's what it is like. And so all of us here today are united in our support of the Palestinian people. All of us here recognise what the UN itself has said, that the occupation of the West Bank, the separation wall as it's called, the specialist roads that have been built, the way the military move in to support the settlements that are taking away the water and the land of the Palestinian people. They've called it for what it is, an apartheid state. Not my words, the words of Archbishop Desmond Tutu, the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who I think can be considered to be an authority on what apartheid actually is. And so, let's give a message to the Palestinian people and give a message to people in Israel that are also opposed to the occupation, also opposed to the treatment of Palestinian people by the occupation, and say, we're with you, end the occupation, end the settlements, end the way in which Palestinian people are so disgracefully treated. Their voice must be heard all over the world. And you know what? Outside North America and Europe, support for Palestine is pretty normal and pretty universal. Let's make it normal and universal in the USA and here. Support the Palestinian people. Support their rights to live and grow up in peace in that wonderful country. Thank you, my friends. Thank you.